Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Igor here. Today I want to share with you 5 reasons why I chose Canada over any other country. Before I immigrated to Canada, I looked at 3 countries. First country was New Zealand, Australia and Canada. So those are 3 countries. I didn't want to go to US not because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not even an option when I was immigrating to Canada. He was not even in the scope. It was not there, but even then the immigration was so tough. With him now being the president of the United States, I think it's even more difficult in US. But at the same time, US is a nice place to stay, but the immigration stuff, everyone wants to go to US. It's a lot of challenges. And plus, not everyone likes Americans in the world, believe me when I say that. But everyone likes Canadians in the world. That's my reason number 5. I started from the back. But let's put it as the first reason. Reason would be the reputation of Canada. Everyone likes Canada. Wherever you go to Ukraine, you say you're from Canada, great, people like you. If you go to, let's go to radical Islam countries, no problem, you're from Canada, you're not going to get in trouble, because Canada is really good in tolerating other religions and accepting different communities. It's an awesome country for, doesn't matter which religion you're in, Canada is accepting all of them and encouraging you to preserve your own traditions, religion and cultural behaviors. So that's why Canada is one of those most loved countries in the world. People love Canadians because they're actually awesome. Not to be cheesy, but Canadians are actually awesome. Look at our Prime Minister. He knows Punjabi dances than some Punjabi people, I'm just saying, But yeah, it's a really awesome country. I mean, lots of cultures and everything. But the reason number 1 how I found about Canada, first of all, reputation. Yeah, of course, reputation is good in Canada. But I googled the best places to live in the world. Canada, to have 3 cities there in the list of top 10, and I believe at that time, I think even those 3 cities were in top 5 cities to be in the world. So main city that was on the highest position on the list was Calgary. There's Calgary, Vancouver and Toronto. Those 3 main cities are considered to be the best places to live in the world for safety, for income, to raise their children. There's so many calculations based on there. I don't know all of them, but I'm telling you that if 3 best cities out of top 5 cities to be in the world are in Canada, probably Canada is the best country to live in the world. That's why I kind of stopped on it. I was thinking, okay, that's awesome. First thing is reputation, second thing is best places to stay in the world. Now, there was also an important factor that I liked about Canada. Since I was coming here as an international student, Canada has recognized education. That's number 3 factor. It's good educational system, really high standards, and plus it's recognized all over the world. So if you don't happen to stay in Canada, for example, you can go to UK, US, anywhere in the world with your Canadian education, and you're not going to have any trouble finding a job. That's why that was another reason. But at the same time, education was more affordable. For example, in Australia, I believe it was like 30% more than it was in Canada. So Australia was not an option for me, also because of the prices for education. Now, I was thinking of going to New Zealand more than I was going to go to Australia, but they're so close and related to each other. But anyways, I realized that Canada is cheaper to study by at least 30%. It's cheaper than in the US, it's cheaper than in Australia, and cheaper than in New Zealand. So it is good if you're coming from a country that is not that rich, like myself, for example. And yeah, prices do matter to people from those countries like mine, because we don't make much there and our parents' savings are not that vast. So Canada was a really good option. At the same time, reason number 4, I would say it was immigration. Now let's look at immigration. If you look at US immigration, it's so difficult right now. I cannot imagine people in US working for 10 years and not getting their residency done, not getting their green card. What the hell are they doing there? I mean, the government it's so bad. It's so bad. I don't want to even talking about. But look at US immigration system. Look at the immigration system in Europe. It's so difficult to immigrate anywhere nowadays. The other immigration system that I kind of liked was New Zealand and Australia, yeah, but I found Canadian immigration system to be the best so far, because there are more chances of you coming to Canada. It's more honest, based on points. Canada is not one of those countries who want illegal immigrants. And Canada is not one of those countries that want immigrants to work for years, you know, not being able to speak up on their working visa. Canada doesn't really want temporary workers. Maximum working visa you can have is for 4 years. After that, you have to decide if you want to stay here and file for permanent residence or you're going back. And I love this about this country, because I feel those people that are working in other countries for more than 10 years trying to get their residency done, permanent residency or immigration done, I believe it to be a modern kind of slavery. I think it's really bad, and it should be prohibited by human rights in the world, because this is bad. It's really bad if people have to work for years and they cannot do anything. They're not yet citizens, they are not yet permanent residents. This is why I love Canada, because they don't do that kind of stuff, and this is awesome. Big advantage. Number 5, it's employment opportunities. In Canada, you get way better employment opportunities. For example, once you graduate from college, you get a working visa. If you study for 1 year in Canada, you get 1 year work permit. If you study for 2 years, you get up to 3 years work permit. Usually everyone gets 3. So you can start working and get your experience towards your education, make some money that you spend. Some people just work to make the money back that they spend for education and they go back to their country, but most of the people who want to stay in Canada, they just do that to get the experience and file the immigration. So, employment. In Canada, people are making good money. That's one of the most important reasons what it makes life in Canada so much better. For example, I was working in Ukraine, I was making $10 in 1 day. It was close to nothing. Now, I looked at it this way: how long would it take me to buy an iPhone? I realized that if I don't eat and spend money for public transportation, I just keep on working for my employer, maybe in 1 year I would be able to afford the latest iPhone. Maybe. But there is no guarantee for it. But most likely I would be able to afford it, but if I don't spend anything. You see, it's not about iPhones and that kind of stuff. It's about, human rights. For example, being equal to other people. You see what I'm trying to say here? I don't know how to explain it. I think everyone in the world should be able to afford an iPhone. I think everyone in the world should be able to afford food, water, home, and all the stuff that they need if they are working full-time, if they are employed and they're putting in enough of effort. That's what I'm thinking. But the thing is, in Ukraine, without proper connections, you can't get into a proper company. And I didn't have any proper connections to get into a proper company in Ukraine. So for me, I would have to work my way through. Now, I looked at it in such a way that, for example, if I would start in Ukraine, how long would it take me to get to a proper position in a proper company to make a decent amount of money? I would probably be 40 years old, and I wouldn't be able to make that much of money that I'm making right now in my 28 or 29, no, still 28 years old. Until February 28 I'll be 29, so still 28. In my 28 years old, I'm making more than I would be making in Ukraine ever, even by 40, maybe 50 years, unless I would be a successful businessman there, starting my own company, or I don't know, win a lottery ticket. Most likely I wouldn't, because I don't really think you can win a lottery ticket in Ukraine. But this is the reason why I chose Canada. Best places to live in the world, recognized education, easier immigration regulations, good employment opportunities, and good country reputation, and Ukrainian community. Ukrainian community is huge in Canada. Those are the 5 reasons why I chose Canada, and I would love to know, why did you choose Canada? Why are you planning to come to Canada if you're planning? And any questions, anything at all, ask me in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, Please support it by hitting that like button like you're going to break it, subscribing to the channel and clicking on the bell there in the bottom so you're going to get notifications each time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in Canada. Have a good one.